happy Saturday. You are tuned in to the American Cream Show, a financial educational show where I show you, teach you, lead you, guide you on ways to redefine the American dream on your terms with Cream. And Cream stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. Come on in this place. Get in here. Y'all get in here. Make sure you have your notepads, your writing utensils, grab the family. You know how we do on Saturday mornings at 9:30. We blast it and we spread the good news to everybody. So if you're blasting it on the TV, make sure you turn it up loud. If you're streaming on the TV, if you're streaming it through the Bluetooth speakers, get everybody up and ready and available to get this information and education so that we can all be empowered. I see people popping in here. I don't know why Facebook has a little bit of a delay from the time I hit the start button to the time that you all actually start coming in. But yet here we are. So, but yet, that's the double something. June is here. She says, good morning. Happy Saturday. I am my own biggest asset. Yes, you are. Affirm yourself when you get in here. You know how we do things. We affirm ourselves. We tell ourselves who we are so that we don't allow others to tell us who we are. Miss Redhead is here. She says, good morning. I am my greatest asset. Yes, you are. Miss Dorothy Henderson is here. Hey, Miss Dorothy. She says, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to all. For those of you who are listening to the audio only, that was a little water break. Had something interesting going on there. But yes, we're back. So happy Saturday. If you're new here, welcome. You are in for a treat. The American Cream is a financial educational show with a twist. The twist is we do anything but be. That sounds a little interesting. We are anything but traditional and conventional, meaning it may be a little interesting to you, but we get the job done. And if you're just joining, Cream stands for credit, real estate, entrepreneurship, assets, and mindset. Make sure you got your pens, your papers. Curtis Kegler is here. I am my own biggest asset. Yes, you are. Affirm yourself. Brenda Moore is here. Good morning, Miss Moore. Good morning to everybody. All my people are here in the place. Thank you all for being here. Even the ones who have not commented, because I realize that there are folks who tune in, tap in, and watch, but y'all might be on the shy side, so you don't comment, and that's okay. I'm not here for you to get the comments. The comments are great, but what I really want you to get is the information and then to implement the information. So we're going to get into today's show. Now, for the past 2 weeks, we have been talking about Miss Robinson. Miss Veronica says, always interesting. Yes, it is very interesting, but it's interesting and informative. And I make it interesting and informative so that you can take the information and implement it and then up level your life. All right. DeLawrence Moore is here. Thank you so much for being here, DeLawrence. So for the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about consumer, producer, and banker, right? So if you have not watched the previous episodes, make sure you either run the tape back on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel already, it is Hyacinth Henderson. So that's youtube.com/Hyacinth Henderson. And so we've been talking about this whole consumer, producer, banker relationship. And at the end of last week's episode, I shared with you that a way for you to be the banker, because I don't want to say most of the time, but if you're listening, I don't know that you work at a bank. Let me say that. And I always kind of watch my words. I'm not telling you to work at a bank to become the banker. I'm telling you to become the banker, and having a life insurance policy, a high performing cash value life insurance policy is a way for you to become the banker. So unless you say, Hyacinth, you know what, I've been listening to your shows and I'm going to go walk into my local bank and become the banker, well, that still ain't your money. You still can't do what I'm telling you to do. Then the next option for you is to get yourself a high performing cash value life insurance policy. And so I sprung that on you last week. And I said, you know what, Hyacinth, don't leave them hanging, right? Don't leave them hanging. Let's go a little bit deeper in that, because I know that sometimes we don't realize how things are changing and how our perspective changes based on where we are. Miss Veronica Newell says, good morning, the Redhead families. Tell me about your program. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Veronica, today. Thank you to the Redheads for sharing the information with their friends and their family members. That is how we get the word out. I went to dinner with a good friend of mine last night, Macarena. And she said, Hyacinth, I watch your YouTubes and it's such good information. We got to get you more followers and things like that. And I said, well, I've heard that a lot. I hear that a whole lot. I don't know how to get more followers. I know that I cannot spend a lot of my time on worrying about the followers. What I do is ask the people who are watching to share the information, because this information costs you the low price of FREE. It's free 99. And if you like it, if you love it, if it learns you something, then you want to share the information. So speaking of doing things and thinking about things in a certain way and our perspective, last night I was at dinner. I went to dinner and we had a 6:30 dinner reservation. And so for my friend Maka, she recently moved to Broward County. She's been a Miami-Dade County native. So most of y'all know I'm a foodie, right? So one thing I know about is food and restaurants and stuff like that. So I chose this location and I made a 6:30 reservation because I got to be home by 9 o'clock, right? Put myself on my own curfew. So we get there and she's like, wow, this is a very nice place. It's on the water. It's a beautiful view. And I says, you know what? I'm surprised that there wasn't a long line outside. There usually is a long line. The valet is usually all on the street. It's usually an ordeal to get in here, but I didn't have any of that, you know? And so she's like, wow, you know, this is 10 minutes from my house. So we're talking and we eat. And before you know it, we're there from 6:30 to about 9:30. Now, to about 9 o'clock. And so at about 8:45, 9 o'clock, we get ready to say, okay, we're going to go to our cars and let's get ready to pull our valet tickets out so you're already prepared. Child, we look over to the valet. It is packed. It is packed. Now it is the scene that I am used to seeing. And I said to her, as we said, well, we were trying to wait it out, but we said we might as well get up and go now because things are going to constantly be changing. More people may pull in and more people may come to leave. So we need to get up now. And so as I said to her, I said, you know what? Because before, when it was 6:30 and I was like, wow, it's usually packed, things must have changed. I don't know how business is going, right? I said to her, they didn't change. The business changed. I changed. I now make a 6:30 dinner reservation because I want to be back home and nestled in the comfort of my home by 9:30. Normally, I would go out about 8:30, 9 o'clock. So when I changed, my perspective of the things in the environment changed. Why does that matter? Because what I'm about to share with you as it relates to life insurance as a wealth building vehicle is going to require you to change your perspective. You're going to have to make some self-assessment and say, well, wait a minute. You know what? I used to go to dinner at 8:30, 9 o'clock and it was popping, but now I've changed. And now that I come at 6:30, I have a different experience. The food is still the same. The view is still beautiful, but now I have a different experience. So now when you look at life insurance, you're going to have to let go of the things that you were doing before, the thoughts that you had about life insurance before, and look at it differently so that you can have a different experience. So when I talk about life insurance as a wealth building tool, I know there's a lot of chatter out there. Maybe it's new to you, maybe it's not. One thing that I know for certain is we can all use some additional education on how to use life insurance as a wealth building tool. So today I'm going to educate you so that you can be able to see how to use this tool. So consumer, producer, banker, child, parent, grandparent. If you don't know what that means, run the tape back and watch the previous 2 episodes, okay? So being your own banker, we know that being the own banker allows you to call the shots. You get to use other people's money. You get to make money not only off of the consumer, but also off of the producer. So if I tell you that life insurance allows you to be the banker, you got to understand, well, okay, first of all, I'm going to get rid of the title. I'm not talking about death insurance. I'm not talking about the insurance that you only exclusively use to bury somebody when it's their time to transition to the next life or wherever they're going. I'm not talking about that. I want you to stretch your mind and say, okay, what does Hyacinth mean by saying that life insurance is a vehicle? Think of a vehicle. A vehicle's objective is to get you from point A to point B. Now, if you want to get from point A to point B in 2021, you have some options. You can walk from point A to point B. You can ride a bicycle from point A to point B. You can get in your car and drive a car from point A to point B. It could be a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder. I think they may have 8 cylinders. You have several choices to get to your destination. You can also say, maybe I want to board a flight and fly commercial. If you're extra fancy and you want to get there real fast, you may say, I'm going to charter a jet to get me from here to there. The purpose of the vehicle is to get you to your destination. When I say that life insurance is a vehicle for you to build wealth, I want you to take off your blinders and realize, child, you used to go to dinner at 8:30. Now you're going at 6:30. You got to see things differently now. Understand that life insurance being a vehicle means that it can take you from where you are now to building wealth and a legacy for your family. So now that you understand that, then let's go back to the banker concept. So the main purpose of the banker is to grow money and then to access money. The main banking concept, I know we're using bank accounts now for different reasons, whatever the case may be, but when you're in wealth building mindset, when you're in doing something differently, when you're at 6:30 dinner mindset, you're like, okay, I used to do this, now I'm gonna do that. When you're in that mindset, you have to ask yourself and say to yourself, the purpose of banking is to grow money and then access it to make major purchases. Is to grow money and to access it to make major purchases. Now, I know some of you out there use your bank accounts and you like, well, the purpose of my money is to get it and spend it as fast as I can and then go back and work for it again. That's 8:30 dinner time. We on 6:30 dinner time now. We're not doing that no more. Things are different. The scene has changed. We want a different result. So now we're stretching our mindset to do something different. So in order to be the banker, you need 3 things. You are the banker. You are going to become the banker. You may not be the banker today, but you're going to be the banker tomorrow. You're going to be the banker next month. You're going to be the banker next year. You are becoming the banker, or you already are the banker. Affirm that, know that, believe that, because you're no longer just a child. You're no longer just a consumer. So in order to be the banker, you need 3 things. Number 1, and we talked about this, but I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it slow this time. You need to find a borrower. Who is the borrower in this case? You are the borrower. Remember, I've been priming you and educating you and massaging your mind so that you can let go of the mantra that borrowing money is bad. That's why I did that 3 weeks ago, months ago. That's why I've been massaging that to let you know that you got to get rid of that mindset. We're edging up our dinner reservation time. We don't want to be out at 12 o'clock at night anymore. We're changing our paradigm. We're changing the way we do things. We're changing the way we think so that we can have a different result. So you're the borrower. Yes, you do borrow. Borrowing ain't bad. Being broke is bad. We'll talk about that another day. Number 1, that's the first thing you need to be the banker, and that's you. The second thing you need is OPM, other people's money. The third thing you need is to participate in safe loans. So the OPM in this case is the life insurance company's money. So now we're expanding our mind. This is a vehicle that was going to get us to wealth, and we need to use other people's money. And whose money are we using? The life insurance companies. Why are we using the life insurance company's money? Because it allows us more liquidity, more use, and more control. What does liquidity mean? Liquidity means you can get your money when you get it, when you want it, not when they want to give it to you. Liquidity matters. Use, you can use it for whatever you want to use it to. We're not confined to a 529 plan that says, oh, you have to only use it for education. We're not confined to some of these other plans that say, oh, you can only take out this amount and you must use it this way. Life insurance, OPM, affords you liquidity, use, and control. Control means you can get it when you want to get it. You control how much money you take out. How do you control how much money you take out? Based on how much money you put in. And the third is you must be able to participate in safe loans. We're not talking about being a banker and loaning money to your cousin Tink Tink who's had 50 failed business ideas and stays out partying all night. Because there's nothing wrong with having 50 failed business ideas. But if you have 50 failed business ideas and you partying all night, well, something tells me that you're not really ready to be an entrepreneur. And so I'm not going to loan you my money. Now, if you have 50 failed business ideas and you up all day, all night, you're in the lab, then you are demonstrating that you want to make something hit. And I understand that the 51st may be your business, the winning business idea. So that is learning the difference between a safe loan and a not safe loan. So pause right there, because I know y'all like, Hyacinth, this sounds good, but I'm gonna need a little help. Let me talk about something that most people are used to when it comes to wealth building. And I'm doing air quotes because I don't really believe that these tools help you build wealth, but that is what we have been told. And so we now have to dissect that. So drop a 1 in the comment if you've heard of the 401k. I have to turn the fan. I'm getting a little hot in here. All right. Ooh, that's much better. Oh, I feel it all through my body. Drop a one in the comment section if you have heard of the 401k. Drop a one in the comment section if you have heard of the IRA. Drop a one in the comment section if you have heard of the 403b. So if you heard of the 401k, the 403b, or the IRA or Roth IRA. I think my pops, old school, he played by the old rules. The big kahuna, he talked about Roth IRAs today. So if you have heard of any of those, drop a one in the comment section. I should see the comment section, the ones rolling through. If you've heard of a 401k, if you heard of a 403b, if you heard of an IRA or a Roth IRA, I should see those ones coming in because I need to know who my audience is. Because if we haven't heard of that, then maybe we need to take some steps back so that I can educate you on what that is before we go forward. Okay, I see the ones rolling through, so I know who I'm in community with. I know who's in the place. All right, boom, check it. So let's talk about IRC. IRC stands for Internal Revenue Code. Okay, so I know a lot of people don't know that. It's not your job to know that. Your job is to know what you know. Your job is to know what they're paying you to do. That's what your job is. And I know and hope that you are doing your job well. IRC stands for Internal Revenue Code. Most people are familiar with these terms that I just shared with you, but what you don't know is they are sections in the Internal Revenue Code. So if you want to know about 401ks, guess what section 401ks is outlined in the Internal Revenue Code? It's in section 401k. Now, your employer, your great granny who told you make sure you get you a 401k, they don't even know this. They're not like the HR lady is not like, hey, you have to participate in section IRC section 401k. They're like, listen, put your money over here because it allows you to do this and do that and boom, boom, bam. And you do it. So I'm educating you because I need to tie this all together so that you can make an educated decision when it comes time to which vehicle you want to pick to get to your wealth building destination. Okay, so 401k is under section 401 and the IRC. And IRA is under section 408 in the Internal Revenue Code. And so the 408 outlines individual retirement accounts. Okay. So when you hit Google after this, because you want to trust but verify and say, Hyacinth said this, I never knew this. I'm not true to this yet. I'm still new to this. Let me ask Google. Ask them, what is section 401? It will give you an answer. What is section 408? It'll give you an answer. Section 403, for those people who are government workers, they maybe work at a school, maybe a hospital or other tax exempt by 501c3 organization. You may say, Hyacinth, I don't have a 401k. I have a 403b. I'm talking to you too. That is a section. Guess what section that is? It's section 403 in the Internal Revenue Code. So all these codes identify what you can do with certain with money, and they identify the tax rules. So that's why this matters. Now, again, we don't talk about this. We just say you need to put your money here or I got my money there. But you don't understand what it really means. But these sections in the government's book outline the rules, the requirements, and the ramifications. So it outlines all of that. I said that to say I wanted to be able to educate you and enlighten you and then tie in where life insurance plays a part in this. So by now, the natural question should be, okay, where does life insurance tie into this? Is there a section in the IRC for life insurance? I'm glad you asked. It's section 7702. Section 7702. So let's bust all the myths that say, no, you can't build wealth with life insurance. Oh, you can't do that. I'm not using life insurance. I only want to put money in my 401k. I only want to put money in my 403b. I only want to put money in my IRA. Okay, let me bring it back. I got a little carried away. And I do this on camera. So I know that we're going to bust those myths for you saying I only want to put money there, because guess what? They got a code for life insurance too. We just don't talk about it a lot because we've been used to going to dinner at a certain time. And now that we're going to dinner at a different time, our perspective is changing. I mean, we were there at 6:30. It was nice and quiet, almost like a dead zone. And that was fine because the service was good and the view was beautiful. But as the sun started to set, then the lights came on, the music started going. And now we at our table and we kind of like, and my friend Marcus like, well, what's that across the street? Oh, that's a taco spot. You know, that type of thing. So things change as you change your perspective. So when you open up your mindset and you say, wow, I didn't know that there was a section 7702. Well, you get to have a different seat at a different table. Now here's a different vehicle that you get to use You get to choose a different vehicle to get to your destination. You may have been used to walking, biking, or driving a car. There are people listening to me right now who has never rode a plane before. You have never taken a flight anywhere. That's section 7702. You're like, wow, I can get from Miami to New York in 3 hours? Yes, you no longer have to drive and take 24 hours to get to New York. You just chose another vehicle. The vehicle that we're now choosing is the 7702, section 7702 in the IRC. What does that identify? Number one, it sets the limits on the premiums that can be paid in the life insurance policy. Number two, it sets the limits on cash value, and it sets the limits on the death benefit. The IRC 7702 sets limits on premium, cash value, and death benefit in order to qualify for a tax preferential treatment. In order to qualify for a tax preferential treatment. If you're not new to this, if you're true to this, you heard me say that as you start to build more wealth and make more money, your mindset shifts from, ooh, how much money am I getting back in a tax refund? Who kids can I claim to? How can I pay less taxes? So section 7702 identifies these three things in order for you to qualify for preferential tax treatment. Boom, it's legal. Drop a 1 in the comment section if you want preferential tax treatment. I want preferential tax treatment. I'm dropping a 1 in the comment section. You want preferential tax treatment. You're dropping a 1 in the comment section. I just explained to you where to find this for all the people that say, "Ooh, child, you paying what in a life insurance policy? You mean to tell me you putting $20,000 in a life insurance policy?" The rebuttal is, you mean to tell me you putting $20,000 in this government sponsored program? Who has restrictions on when you can take your money out because you can't touch it without a penalty till you're 59 and a half, who then tells you that when you get ready to take your money out, oh, I want some of that. I want some taxes on it. There's no preferential tax treatment at withdrawal for any of the other government-sponsored tax programs that I talked about. Why does this matter? Because when you get ready to take your money out, you don't want to have to pay Uncle Sam. We've been programmed to that. We've been programmed to think that. I've been programmed that when I show up to dinner at this certain restaurant, there's always going to be a line outside. I'm not going to be able to walk up to the hostess stand. The valet is always going to be a headache because I was going to dinner at 8:30, 9 o'clock. You see what I'm saying? I was programmed to think that. You were programmed to think that when it's time for retirement, you're going to have to pay taxes to the government because that's just the way it is. Now, when we do things at a different way, when we go to dinner at a different time, wait, you mean to tell me I can walk right up to the hostess stand? Like just right up and like, hey girl, hey, I'm ready. Yes, you can do that. You mean to tell me at retirement time, you could just pull your money out of this vehicle and not have to pay any taxes? Yes, you can do that. Tax plan IRC 7702. So here's the thing. Back in December 28th of 2020, the then President Trump signed the Consolidated Appropriation Act into law. What did that do? It made some changes to Code Section 7702. And what those changes relate to, the short of the long of it. Yeah, the short of the long of it. Those changes now say we can put a little bit more money in here and still receive preferential tax treatment. So back in December, there was a new act that was passed. I know you ain't know nothing about the act. I know you didn't. I know, it's okay. I knew. That's why you're listening to me, right? But it allows you to put more money in there for even more preferential tax treatment. All right, so I'm running out of time. I got about 6 minutes left. I may stretch it to maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10 minutes. James T, don't have a fit. Don't send Robert up here, okay? All right, but I'm running out of time, but I wanted to give you that so that you can stretch your mind and start thinking, gosh, all of this is happening when I'm twiddling my thumbs or tending to my business. Yes, all of this is happening. It's happening and it's real. Okay, so as I give you that to chew on, I want you to chew on it Saturday. I want you to chew on it Sunday. But by Monday, you should be calling me. By Monday, you should be calling 305-825-1444. By Monday, you should be visiting www.thehenderson Financial Group to say, Hyacinth, I want to know more about that. I'm ready to see things differently. I'm ready to have a new perspective. I am ready to choose a new vehicle to get me to my wealth building destination. I'm tired of catching the bus. I'm tired of walking. I'm tired of riding a bike. Now I'm ready to get on a flight. I want a new vehicle, and that vehicle is a high functioning cash value life insurance policy. All right, so let's talk about the 3 tests that I explained to you that you need to be able to call yourself a banker, right? So the first one is a safe loan. Let's start with that. You have to be able to give safe loans. What makes life insurance the vehicle to give a safe loan? Well, The life insurance policy is the collateral. So it's safe. It's like, okay, you're building up this cash value. We understand that if something happens, we're just going to pull money from your policy. If you don't pay us back, your death benefit is going to be reduced. We're going to pull money here. So that's safe, number one. The second one is the borrower. Most people, if you're listening by now, you should understand that you are the borrower. You borrow money because you understand that having access to capital is key. Yes, you're the best to ever do it. You work, and you save your money, and you don't need to borrow nothing from nobody. I'm a grown man, I'm a grown woman, blah, 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 boom, whatever. We're borrowing money because access to capital is key. And the more access to capital I have, then the more wealth I am able to build if your mindset is right. Because there are some people who have access to capital and y'all tricking it off on stuff that don't make you no money. And I have to throw that in there so that you understand why we teach and educate about the importance of mindset so much. Because when you run into things like this, where you now are accessing capital, your mind is strong enough to say, okay, I'm accessing this capital and it's not for me to go make it rain in the club. I'm accessing this capital, and it is for me to be able to use OPM, other people's money, to build a legacy for my family, to build a wealth building tool right now. That's what OPM is for. Okay, so as the borrower, you understand that. You got rid of that. I ain't borrowing nothing from nobody. Oh, we borrowing these people money. We are borrowing these people money. Drop a one in the comment if we are borrowing these people money. I'm borrowing these people money. Listen, I'm borrowing these people money. I told you a few weeks ago, get rid of that debt-free is the way to be mantra. Get rid of that. There are popular financial people who are on payroll that tell you to use all your money to pay all your debts and your butt sitting there poor. Why would you do that? Get rid of that. Okay. So you're the borrower. We understand that we're okay with borrowing. And I wanted to spend some time on that because I know that my people and our culture and our community, borrowing has a negative connotation associated with it. We're either one end of the spectrum or the next. It's either like I'm going to borrow and I'm going to act a fool because I ain't never had nothing, or I'm not going to borrow because if I borrow, that means I'm going to act a fool and I don't want to go back to not having anything. We're open now. We're borrowing. The second component where the life insurance policy picks this up is the OPM. And I must say this, you are not borrowing from your policy. You are borrowing against your policy. That is what makes it tax free. If you borrow from, I think I hear Mr. Henderson coming upstairs. Let me speed this part up. If you borrow from your policy by taking, number one, you interrupt compounding interest. And you don't want to interrupt compounding interest. If you don't know what compounding interest is, Albert Einstein said it's the eighth wonder of the world, or the ninth, one of the two. He said it's something. Google it. An easy way for you to understand what compounding interest is to understand it's that interest that your credit card company pays you, bills you, charge you. And it's like, okay, well, my minimum payment is $25, but I'm paying $100, but my balance is $5,000. And although I'm paying $75 more over it, the balance never seems to go down because they hitting you with that 1-2 punch. And that 1-2 punch is compounding interest. Compounding interest is interest on top of interest. So they're not just charging you on interest on what you borrowed. They're charging you interest on the interest that you owe for what you borrowed. Let's flip that when you're investing. So when you build up your life insurance policy and it starts earning interest, it's earning compounding interest, meaning it's not only earning interest on the money that you put into the policy, it's earning money on the money that you put into the policy, plus the interest that you've been paid on for the money that you put into the policy. That's interest on top of interest on top of interest. Why does this matter? Let's go back. We are borrowing OPM. Naughty by nature almost came out. I'm an 80s baby. We are borrowing OPM, other people's money. I don't want to borrow my money because I don't want to take my interest out of the game. I don't want to disrupt that compounding interest. I want my compounding interest to keep compounding more and more and more. I want to pay the credit card company's game. Oh, you think you're getting away? We putting some more on top of that. You think you're getting away? Here goes some more. I want to do that with my investments. Oh, you got some money in here? We're going to give you some more interest. You put some more in here? Oh, we're going to give you even more interest on top of that. That's compounding interest. When you take out your money, you interrupt the compounding interest. When you borrow OPM, other people's money, the insurance company's money, you do not interrupt the compounding interest. And I realize that I'm talking fast, so you may have to watch this episode 2 or 3 times until you get it. But I promise you, if you rewatch it, rewind it, and take notes, it's going to change your life. You're going to go from walking to flying. is going to change your life. So you're not borrowing from your cash value. You're borrowing against your cash value. That is why it is important to understand that we borrow. And before the question comes, because I can read minds, I know Miss Anderson likes to say, my daughter is into the stars and the moon. Okay, we'll call it that. But yes, you have to pay it back. It ain't no free lunch over here. It's no free lunch over here. Yes, you have to pay it back. I know you're asking, do I have to pay this money back? You sure do. Absolutely. How you going to borrow something and not going to pay it back? Why would you do that? Why? Now, here's the thing. Well, I don't want to pay it back. Well, that's a poverty consciousness mindset. When you have a poverty consciousness, you don't want to pay nobody, but you want something. A prosperity consciousness says, I got to pay to play. I'm going to pay their interest back, because when I pay their money back, then I know I'm going to get some more money. So poverty consciousness, prosperity consciousness. Yes, you have to pay it back. But here's the thing. You are paying it back at a lower interest rate than you would your normal banks, your normal creditors. You know what interest rates they're charging you. They're charging you double-digit interest rates. The life insurance company is charging you a lower single-digit interest rate. So if I have a choice, once I get over ego, once I realize, it's almost like saying, okay, well, no matter what vehicle I take, if I am walking to my destination, I got to make sure I got some good walking shoes. That's you pay to play. If you ride a bike, you have to make sure your bike is serviced, your tires have air. That's your pay to play. If you want to fly commercial, if you want to take an airplane, you got to pay a ticket. That's your pay to play. If you want to borrow these people money, OPM, so that you can then have liquidity, use, and control, you got to pay them some interest. That's your pay to play. You don't get something for nothing. That's out of order. That's not how life works. Okay. So understanding that, yes, you are going to have to pay them back some interest. So don't think you're getting something for nothing. That's not going to work. Your bank or whoever you get money from, they usually make you qualify for money. We don't have to do that. The only way you qualify in a life insurance policy is by your good health. The only way you qualify in a life insurance policy is with your good health. So how do you build up the cash value? I got 2 minutes. How do you build up the cash value? You build up the cash value. You must put something in to get something out. So now do you see why when my clients and myself were like, okay, we're doing a life insurance policy, and I know it really only costs $98 a month, but we're putting $20,000 a year in there. We're putting $20,000 a year and another $20,000, another $20,000, and for my birthday next month, I'm getting another life insurance policy, and I'm putting a couple thousand in that policy, because I am building up all my cash value buckets so that when I want to take some money out, I could be the banker. I'm not going to nobody else asking to borrow their money. I want to be the banker to do the things that I want, because I understand the benefit of liquidity, use, and control. How do you qualify with your good health? No, you can't be eating up all the hog mugs and bread and butter. You can't do that, because when they go to qualify you, they're going to look at you, they're going to pull your records and say, "Whoo, you a risk. We can't give you no insurance." So who is this policy for? Who is this vehicle for? It's for you, your cousin, and your mama too. That's Outcast. Shout out to Outcast. It is for you, your grandkids, your children. Who should you have a high-performing cash value life insurance policy for? You, your baby daddy, your husband, your wife, your children, your grandchildren. Why? Because it's the equivalent of saying, I got a vehicle over here and it's gassed up. I got a vehicle over here and it's gassed up. I got a vehicle over here and it's gassed up. And anytime I want to get to my destination, I have all these vehicles at the ready for me to get to where I need to get. Before I go, I want to make a quick note on health and memory loss. I've had one too many conversations with people who have recovered from, and I can't say the word because they already censoring my videos, but I've had one too many conversations of people who are recovering from, the issue that we've had, the issue that's been going on. And so one of the lingering effects seems to be memory loss. And so I want to give you some memory loss foods to help you. And you don't have to be recovering from what has been going on, what caused the world to shift. You don't have to be recovering from that. You could just say, you know what, I want to strengthen my memory. Memory loss foods: fatty fish, salmon, sardines, and canned tuna. I'm not a canned tuna girl. If I want to strengthen my memory loss, I'm going to have to eat some canned tuna. I'm an ahi tuna. There's a difference between ahi tuna and canned tuna. So that's why I'm specifying that. Sardines, salmon, and canned tuna. Avocados. Women should already be eating 1 avocado a day. Avocados work wonders for your system. They help strengthen the brain. These are brain foods. So even if you aren't suffering from memory loss, these are brain foods, okay? And I'm sharing these because health is your true form of wealth. I can teach you to have all the vehicles, and if you don't take care of your body, you're not going to be here to enjoy it, okay? Avocados generally don't have a taste. If you want to add some taste to it, If you, still got hood tendencies like me, put some lemon pepper on it, right? Lemon pepper makes everything better, right? Okay, turmeric. You can get the turmeric root. You can get the turmeric powder. Put it in your tea. Put it in your smoothies. Pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are easy. Take a few. Get the ones that are unsalted. Save your salt for something like French fries, right? Get the pumpkin seeds that are unsalted. You want to eat these to strengthen your brain. Nuts, Brazil nuts. Everybody under the sound of my voice, if you do not have a nut allergy, should be eating 3 Brazil nuts a day. Brazil nuts are a great source of selenium. Remember, I skipped school in high school, all right? So Selenium. Selenium, maybe. It's a great source of that. 3 a day is all you need. What is that for? It's high in vitamin C. It's high in properties that help you fight cancers. It helps strengthen your immune system. 3 Brazil nuts. Get you a bag from Trader Joe's. Just eat 3 in the morning. Call it a day. All right. And your berries, your strawberries, your blueberries, your kiwis. And if you like something sweet on the side, a little piece of dark chocolate a day, maybe at bedtime for your dessert, will help strengthen your brain. All right, I'm way past my time. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you did enjoy this episode, drop a 1 in the comment. Let me know that I'm not talking to myself. Let me know that you are picking up what I'm putting down. All the information and education that I share here for free 99 is for you. It is for you to take and to build your legacy, grow your lineage, and do better for yourselves and for the generations that come behind you. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. If you have not done so already, hit that share button. Don't worry about if they like it. They're looking. Trust me, I know. You can share it in Messenger. You can share it on your timeline. And if you have not done so already, hit the follow button for the Henderson Financial Group page, and also subscribe to me on YouTube. I gotta go. James T and my pops will be here for Understanding Money Part 2 at 10:15. So I have to create the link. It's gonna say like 10:20 or something like that, but they'll be on at 10:15. They'll be right on time today. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe and stay sane. Peace.